I mean, and I could say I think Trump is worse than Nixon and McNamara by far, Trump and Hegseth.
Yes, Hollywood superstar Ed Norton, Trump is definitely worse than Nixon. And given that Nixon used to be the gold standard for presidential corruption, Trump should be happy that he's taken over that title since he loves gold so much. And Ed Norton had a lot more to say on that topic, and I'll play it all for you right after you help me out. Hit subscribe to Really American Media right here on YouTube and over on Substack. Okay. All right. Now, I'm not sure why Nixon is in the news so much right now, but J.D. Vance actually just said this out loud.
As I joked with Robert backstage, if Watergate happened tomorrow, it would be like a 12-hour news story. Like, the idea that it would have taken down a presidency is crazy.
Well, that's a stunning lack of self-awareness, although he is not wrong. Watergate would pale in comparison to everything coming out of the Trump regime on a daily basis. So he's right. It would just be a quaint story as we deal with the shit show that JD has a starring role in. That's nothing to brag about there, couch fucker. And Ed Norton, he just went on Ted Danson's podcast because everybody's got a podcast now. Yeah, everybody. And here's what Ed had to say on the topic of Trump and Richard Nixon.
Think about the 60s and the tumult of the time. When we made A Complete Unknown, one of the things I thought Jim Mangold captured really, really well in that, when he dealt with the Cuban Missile Crisis, was just the level of terror that actually created. And I think we move on and we look back, well, the civil rights, we say the civil rights was effective. Change got made. The Vietnam War ended. People protested it. But in the middle of all that, I think people felt just about as intensely as we feel right now.
Yeah.
I mean, and I could say I think Trump is worse than Nixon and McNamara by far. Trump and Hegseth are, they are, you can actually credit Nixon and McNamara with some dimension of competency.
Yeah.
You know, you may not, terrible things were going on and they were corrupt in some ways and there were lies. We're in a level of incompetency and grift.
Yeah.
And corruption that is unprecedented in the history of this country.
Yeah, zero lies detected. And please, don't give me this actors need to shut up and act bullshit. Ed Norton is a U.S. citizen, and he's got every right to use his fame to get vocal. I thank him for doing so. And let's be honest here, actors kind of have a different perspective than a lot of us, since they travel the world on a regular basis, experiencing other cultures and forms of government. So one could argue that they're uniquely qualified to get vocal. Although, I will tell you, I'm a little worried about Ed Norton. He was just spotted at a World Cup soccer game talking to himself. And if you get that joke, we can be friends. And if you don't get it, do yourself a favor and go watch Fight Club. What have you been doing with your life? And all joking aside, this is not the first time that Mr. Norton has gone off on Trump. Here he is on Colbert's show just a couple of months ago.
I think that it's worth acknowledging that the anxiety of these times is particularly intense for a lot of people right now. I think that I think that we know the world is effed up in ways that are unprecedented in our lifetimes. But we also live in this unbelievable onslaught of information. You know, we see genocide being live streamed to us. We see American citizens being killed by paramilitary people in our own streets for standing in solidarity with their neighbors. We're seeing Epstein's abuses titrated into us on a daily basis, and it is such a conundrum because we know that there's a value. We know that it's good in some ways to know what is actually happening, to know what's happening in Gaza, to know what's happening in Ukraine and Sudan and Minneapolis. But at the same time, it is very difficult to know what we as an individual person can do about all of that while moving through our day.
Well, Ed, you're already doing what we can all do. Get vocal, speak out. Don't let the mega Gestapo silence you. So share this kind of content so everyone in your social media circle knows that you are on the right side of history, just like Ed Norton.
These are not normal times, and it's like we have extrajudicial like assaults on Americans and humans going on a daily basis now, and it's not okay. And even though all people kind of have to put one foot in front of the other and deal with the demands of the day, we cannot act like this is not happening. And I think I think what they're doing in Minnesota with the strike needs to expand. I think we should be talking about a national general economic strike until this is over and stopped.
Yes, you can get vocal with your mouth, your words, and with your wallet. We saw it work when Jimmy Kimmel got pulled off air, and it can work with all of these billionaires bending a knee to King Trump. It's not cancel culture, it's the free market at work, and you've got every right to spend your money where you see fit. So keep all of that in mind as you get overwhelmed by this crazy news cycle we're living in day after day. You're not alone in how you feel. And this November, we're all going to show Trump and all of Trump world what being on the wrong side of history looks like. In the meantime, like this video and please share it worldwide. And of course, comment below and get vocal. From the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve podcast, newest episode is coming out today, so you can watch it right here or find us on a audio podcast site. Listen there and then hit subscribe to support our efforts. I'm Steve Harness for Really American Media.